What does the end of the world look like? While most of us would probably not survive to know, there is a select group within the U.S. military that could not only survive the apocalypse, but thrive. Housed at a secret military base built inside a mountain, the Cheyenne Mountain Complex is America's ultimate last line of defense and the most secure facility of its kind in the world. Designed to withstand the worst humans and Mother Nature could throw at it. We're talking nuclear blasts, biological attacks, and more. Take a second and try to find the base in this photo. Did you find it? At first glance, you probably would never even be able to tell that a fortified military base was here at all. Situated deep inside Cheyenne Mountain outside of Colorado Springs, Colorado, this fortress's location seems better suited as a backdrop for a postcard rather than a nuclear bunker. At more than 2,000 feet deep beneath solid granite, this base is serious about survival in case the worst happens. But how does one actually get into it, considering it's, well, underground? In order to access the base, there is only one way in and one way out. Once you arrive at the entrance, you would be greeted by an ominous opening to what looks like a never-ending cave. To get to the front door, you would need to drive down a 4,700-foot-long tunnel shaft that heads straight down into the mountain. As you go deeper and deeper into the tunnel, you will start to see the outside light fading and being taken over by fluorescent overhead lights. All along the walls, you would start to see massive bolts hammered into the rock face. But what are they for? Because the complex is situated inside the mountain with millions upon millions of tons of granite on top of it, these rock bolts, which measure 6 to 32 feet in length, help protect the inside of the complex from collapsing by preventing the rock around it from shifting. As you make your way closer to the entryway, you see hundreds of what are actually more than 115,000 of these bolts that keep the mountain from caving in the facility. After a daunting journey to the front of the complex, one might think that one would just be able to saunter inside, right? Well, think again. Coming here is not like going through the front door of your friend's house, and this base's front doors are definitely different. After traveling the length of the tunnel shaft, you'd find yourself confronted by several armed guards posted around two massive doors. However, these are no ordinary doors. Two blast doors, weighing an astounding 25 tons each, can seal off the entrance to the outside world in about 45 seconds. But despite being so big, these massive, finely tuned doors can be opened and closed by just one security guard. Once closed, their massive locks form a protective seal that will keep out attackers, biological and chemical agents, and even nuclear radiation. These doors can do this through several ingenious methods. First of all, engineers built them at a direct 90-degree angle from the entrance shaft. If any particles managed to get in, they would be much less likely to make contact with the doors. But even if they did, the complex has an impressive blast valve system that overpressurizes the base. By doing this, anyone walking into the complex would feel a strong breeze blowing towards them. However, this is not an air conditioning system, rather overpressurization at work that forces nasty agents to back out toward the environment. Once through the two sets of blast doors, what you will see is a little bit perplexing. As you enter the well-lit compound, you'll be inside the first of 15 different buildings. Each of these buildings are made of literal battleship steel that the Navy had left over from World War II. So as you can tell, they can definitely take a beating. But these buildings are not just unusual because of their makeup. They're also suspended in the air. Located underneath each building, these metal springs, each weighing 1,000 pounds, help make the complex immune to earthquakes caused by natural disasters and nuclear weapons. With the ability to move an inch in either direction, The entire complex is almost like a militarized bounce house, except it's supported by 1,300 massive springs. And there are a lot fewer clowns and carnival games here. However, these work buildings and living quarters are not the only structures down there. No, this place is more like a self-sustaining city and a military complex. Going through a service tunnel between the buildings, and you will reach a dead end at a massive underground lake. With a 1.5 million gallon freshwater reservoir fed directly from the mountain, the base has more than enough water to meet the needs of its 600 residents. In fact, it has so much water that it can still meet the basic needs of everyone while also using it to fight a fire. But that is not all the base has. To the right of the lake, you'll find a fully functioning power generation plant. With 6 massive generators, the plant can meet the needs of its inhabitants even during a nuclear strike, thanks to the more than 500,000 gallons of diesel fuel stored there. But despite its impressive defenses, the complex also has to maintain a semblance of normalcy after those big blast doors close. So, what is life like trapped beneath a mountain? In the event of a catastrophe and the sirens start blaring, everyone trapped outside will have 45 seconds to slip into the safety of the facility. Once tucked away behind those 2 giant blast doors, anyone inside is now stuck with nothing but their thoughts and the echoes of whatever chaos is erupting above ground. In such a scenario, the first thing people would do would be to grab what they call their button-up bags. These bags are basically like their go-to bags, and they all have their basic necessities like food, a bedroll, extra clothes, and whatever creature comforts they may have brought from the outside world. That's because every time airmen start a shift here, they must prepare for the fact that they will not come back out. After grabbing their button-up bags, the next thing that would happen is issuing cots. While senior leadership is all afforded living quarters a bit smaller than apartments, rank-and-file service members, along with civilian support staff, must make do with cots. However, not everything is so bad down there. Organized like a mini-city, the complex has everything it needs to not only survive, but thrive, even while nuclear bombs rain down from above. In addition to the basics like water and electricity mentioned earlier, the complex comes equipped with a gym to maintain physical health, a chapel for spiritual health, and a cafeteria and convenience store to keep up morale. Inside this cafeteria and convenience store, one will find all the comfort foods one would have above ground, like chips, coffee, burgers, and anything else staff can make with the 270 days worth of supplies stockpiled down there. But, of course, not everything is fun and games. There will most certainly be casualties in an actual attack. To treat the wounded, there is a fully functioning hospital and dental office, and in the event of a mass casualty, staff can convert the gym to house the injured. But what kind of work are they doing down there that is so important as to go make all these painstaking preparations? The main purpose of the bunker is to ensure that the U.S. military still has eyes and ears looking out for threats and giving orders to any military units still standing. But how do they do this with the literal mountain on top of them? Thanks to its hardened networks, the complex has the most robust communication suite in the entire world. With the ability to send and receive data from satellites, even in the worst of times, the service members manning the complex can rest assured that no matter what is happening, they will always know what's going on. But what are they looking out for? Known as the North American Aerospace Defense Command, or NORAD, this tenant command is responsible for ensuring the skies over the U.S. are safe from any incoming threats, including nuclear weapons. This command post is manned 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and the people there constantly monitor what's going on in the world. If anyone launches a plane, a missile, or does anything else suspicious, you can bet your bottom dollar that the staff at NORAD knows about it. In addition to NORAD, The Cheyenne Complex also serves as a command post for the U.S. Northern Command and U.S. Strategic Command. The Northern Command has authority over all forces based in the U.S., while the Strategic Command has authority over all forces worldwide. In the event of a nuclear attack, these two entities would button up inside the bunker to ensure military operations could continue with whatever units survived the initial attack. While this was the main purpose of this bunker for generations, NORAD and the other combatant commands moved the bulk of their personnel to nearby Peterson Space Force Base. Because of this, only a skeleton crew operates within the bunker on any given day. However, in the event of an emergency, these tenant commands would all run over to the bunker and resume the same work that the staff inside the bunker currently does. Because of this, does that mean the bunker will go away in the future and turn into a relic of the Cold War and not an active military base? Despite the risk of a nuclear war being much lower nowadays, it doesn't mean the bunker is any less relevant. In fact, with an even more divided geopolitical landscape, with a rising China and an unpredictable Iran and North Korea, and the Cold War 2.0 with Russia, the U.S. military finds itself in its most precarious position since 1991. Because of this, the military will always want to ensure continuity of command for its forces in such an unpredictable landscape. Other government agencies also utilize office space there. Remember earlier when we mentioned civilians also work there? While some of these civilians are support staff who help keep the place running, some are actually serving very valuable national security functions. Among the two agencies with people there are the Defense Intelligence Agency and the Federal Emergency Management Agency, better known as FEMA. It makes sense why these two entities are there. If an attack were to happen, top leadership would want to know all about the who, what, when, where, and why. Additionally, FEMA could direct operations to disaster areas for affected civilian population centers. Because of this, the Cheyenne Mountain Complex is more than just a relic of the Cold War. It continues to serve as a bulwark in an even more unforgiving and unknown world. Bye for now.